We all know life can be relentless between the demands of work, family, the quiet weight of things that we don't actually talk about, like past trauma and the sting of betrayal. It's easy to feel stuck or like you're walking this path entirely alone.
If you're nodding your head, we want to tell you about the Radiant Dawn Women's Retreat. This isn't just a weekend getaway. It's an intentional space designed for deep, wholehearted healing. Whether you're looking to reconnect with your heart or find the power to move forward, Radiant Dawn offers a roadmap back to your true identity.
So picture this, a gorgeous mansion in southern Utah, powerful experiences in nature, laughing like crazy with sisters who truly get it. It's a Christian-based retreat, but it's open to any woman of any faith who is ready to do the work and find real connection.
It's challenging, it's physical, and it is life-changing. You'll leave exhausted in the best way possible, spiritually and emotionally renewed. If you've been waiting for a sign to prioritize your own healing, this is it.
So come join us at the end of February in southern Utah.
Visit radiantdawn.org to learn more and secure your spot. Welcome to the Therapy Brothers podcast.
I'm Brannon.
I'm Tyler.
We're brothers.
We're therapists.
And we know recovery.
Bring your stories, your questions, your successes with real recovery.
Hey, Tyler, you ready to have some hard conversations?
Let's do it.
Let the Therapy Brothers podcast begin.
Happy Groundhog's Day, Brannon.
Oh, man. Yeah. I've been celebrating. Like, I've been walking around outside just noticing my shadow.
It's like full on shadow because there was all night a full moon. And then this morning, it's like the only clear blue sky we've had in like the last 3 months.
But Tyler, the crazy thing is here in Utah, Groundhog's Day is like, are we going to have 6 more weeks of winter? We haven't had one day of winter yet.
I know we just had the gloom of the winter without the snow.
I heard it snowed a foot in North Carolina today.
I know it's nuts, man.
What is going on?
The world we're living in is crazy, man.
Like, we haven't had a storm in months.
We're supposed to be getting the Winter Olympics, and I don't know that's going to be happening anytime soon.
Punxsutawney Phil's full of crap, man. Oh. The Winter Olympics are going to be a disaster. It's going to be like sliding down mud when they come here.
Seriously.
Hopefully next year's better.
Amen.
Well, should we dive in, Tyler?
Yeah, let's go, man. We got a guest today. We have a guest who we didn't realize it, but was a guest right when we were starting the podcast. She told us she was on about 5 years ago. So
that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah. So Tammy, welcome to the show again. We're happy to have you back and happy to try to help any way we can.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Jump in and just kind of tell us a little bit about anything pertinent that would allow us to help you. Any backstory, any sort of factors that are in play, and then kind of what you're looking for help with.
Yeah. I think when I was on 5 years ago, my husband and I had been married for about 12 years at that point and kind of had our D-Day come to Jesus moment. And I found out that he had kind of almost a daily porn habit and had affairs with about 9 different people over 12 years of marriage. So speaking with you guys was very helpful at that point. We have done therapy as a couple. He's done therapy individually. I've done therapy individually. He's gone to, classes at our church. I feel like we've dug in, but yet I feel like even though there's the guise of recovery, I am banging my head against the same issue over and over and over again as he goes back to porn, like every 6 weeks, every couple months. And he's never come to me proactively, but I think women's intuition is really good. I'm not like scouring for it. I'm not like digging through devices for it. But I can just feel our relationship shift. I can feel our intimacy shift. And I guess after 5 years of like banging my head against a wall. I don't know if I'm not drawing good enough boundaries, but I feel like I'm re-traumatizing myself every time this happens, and it's starting to build up resentment. And I guess I'm fearful that if I don't draw some hard lines, and I don't know what those should look like, but I don't want to get to a point where I just don't want to let him in, or I don't ever trust him again, or I feel like it's unrepairable resentment. But I feel like I'm, after 5 years of the same conversation every 2, 3, 4 months, I don't know how I can't not get there if I just continue this pattern.
Mm-hmm. How long have you guys been married?
17 years.
Yes.
17, and you've known for 5.
Yes.
And so I'm curious about, you say your intuition brings it out almost every time. Is it almost every time that you check in with it that there is some type of disclosure or discovery again?
Yes. And I guess sometimes I push because there isn't a lot of desire to be completely transparent. And usually my answer is exactly what I know. I don't think it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I just feel like I can tell, and I shouldn't say almost, every time I've had that question, the answer is what I expect.
I'm
And
I'm wondering, Tammy, if it's stopping at all.
right, right. Oh,
Right?
yeah. I mean, I definitely have that question too. But yeah, I don't know.
But we can say that there's definitely a consistent pattern of acting out, whether it's every couple months or whether he's doing it every day.
Right.
There's definitely that consistency still going in terms of his acting out behavior.
And I think as we've had discussions, and I feel like it's always the same conversation. There's really a normalization of that in our society, and I think he just has this feeling like, why does everyone else? Why can everyone else do it and it doesn't affect their marriage? Why do other people find the line where it doesn't affect their actions, or it's not notable? And so I feel like he's still 5 years later trying to find that line. And I, and please tell me if I'm way off base here. I sometimes think about, like, what if somebody had kids in a car and their spouse had a drinking problem and they crashed, the kids die. They might not have much room for that person to continue drinking or find a good amount, like find that line of healthy drinking. I feel like after 9 affairs in 12 years, like basically from almost year one of our marriage, I don't have a space for that. I don't have a space to find like the healthy amount.
Has he said that he wants to stop? Like, is he indicating to you that he actually wants to stop?
I think when we talk about it, like from a point of view of what woman in a healthy relationship marriage mindset would, be excited about their partner, you know, fantasizing about the neighbor, or something like I don't know who would be okay with that. Like, he understands that cognitively. I think he doesn't necessarily think that it's relationship booster, but I don't know. I think he would like to figure out how to have his cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
And I have allowed for the last 5 years for us to have, I don't think I keep a good boundary on that. I want emotional intimacy. I want sexual intimacy. I want love. I want to be happy. So I tend to just go back into the relationship over and over. Because I feel like I'm also punishing myself. Like I don't feel like I should have to do without that intimacy piece. But yet every time I go back in and let that vulnerability come and I find out again and again, it just stirs up all, it just stirs it up again. And I don't, maybe it's my lack of healing. I don't know. I don't know what I should own.
Well, I think what I'm hearing right now is there is some ownership taking place just right here on the call, which is that I'm realizing there's something about me that maybe it would be a little different if I didn't have 9 affairs and constant acting out under my belt. I might look or feel differently about it, but I'm currently in a spot where I just don't think I can take that. That sounds honest. You're also here on a call saying, I also know that I sacrifice some of my own values to try to get other values in the relationship. I really want intimacy physically, emotionally. I want to lean into the relationship that I'm in, even though there's a part of me that says it's not really the right safety level or conditions for me to do that sometimes. And then we're living in Groundhog Day over and over again. So that's honest.
Does he, that is honest, and I hear you taking some accountability. I just want to do a little more assessment on him for a second in terms of like recovery. Does he do anything in terms of being proactive to address the issue, like therapy wise, or?
He did some therapy personally to kind of delve into like childhood and just habits and where some of it comes from and stems from. And but I don't think there's a desire. Like I drew a pretty hard line 3 weeks ago, and there's been absolutely no.
Does he attend any groups? Does he have a support system? Does he have accountability?
No, and he did a class, and at the end of the class, it talked about setting up an accountability and support group. It talked about adding filters, like filters you could add to your computers, whatever. He's opted to do none of it. And I've called him out on it, that I think it is because he doesn't want to. I think it allows someone's behaviors to continue. But then I think he doesn't like it when I am a teacher or disciplinary. I don't know, if I don't do anything or I don't say anything, nothing happens.
Tammy, I'm just kind of watching Tyler's face a little bit, and I think I'm curious, Tyler, what are you thinking as you're hearing this?
Well, I mean, I'm just like in my own head trying to assess the level of recovery that he's in right now based off of what we're hearing. He's not here to defend himself, so I don't know for sure, but all of
we're hearing Tammy's perspective, but what are you hearing?
Yeah, well, we just did an episode right before this. Like literally the episode right before this is about the 3 levels of recovery, and we added a ground 0 for a 4th level, so 0 through 3. And
really quickly, just tell her what those are.
Yeah, ground 0 is I'm trying to stop based off of shame and fear, and it's just I criticize myself, and say I'll never do it again, but then I never change anything. I don't do anything. I'm not serious about changing. Number 1 is I start to do stuff because I got caught or because I'm being coerced into it or because I should do something, and I start checking the boxes, but there's nothing there other than just like the fear of other people's judgment. Then there's level 2, which is I start to gain some traction and I'm getting a little bit of like success here, but I'm doing recovery a la carte by only doing the things that are convenient and easy for me, but the harder stuff that would really move the needle, I'm not ready to take on yet. And then the last one is
call that ambivalent recovery.
Yeah, ambivalent recovery. And then the third top one is is what we call an actual change of being. And that's where the heart changes. That's where the energy towards that growth and that change happens instead of, otherwise. So in what she's saying, Brannon, what I'm hearing is she's saying things like he's trying to see how far he can push the edge and have his cake and eat it too. He does go to meetings, but he doesn't really do anything with those meetings. He's never been proactively honest, but he'll kind of sort of be honest when I pull it out of him and act like a probation officer. And I really want to be in a relationship with someone. And so now here's the problem. Like, this guy's not in recovery. He's
what level, Tyler?
He's like when he gets caught, he's level 1.
So he's level 0.
He's like level 0, level 1 right now. And now the question is I want what level 4 recovery could offer in terms of intimacy and connection in the relationship. But the landing space that I have to try to get that level of intimacy and connection is a level 0-1. That's what I'm hearing, Brannon. I don't know. You might see it differently.
Well, I can tell you're fired up, and like I am inside too, because just like really quickly, we just started talking, Tammy, and I just your intuition is spot on that you're in a relationship that with somebody who's struggling with an addiction to a point where you're not getting your values met, and I really like your analogy about the car wreck. I don't like that analogy, but like 9 affairs in a relationship, this isn't just like normal. And for him to come around and be like, well, but porn is kind of normal, this and that, like he has crossed, we're talking about a sex addiction going.
He has a problem. He has a serious problem, and he's not taking responsibility for his serious problem.
Yeah. If I'm let's stick with this alcoholic thing. If I'm someone who got in that car wreck, and then I'm like, well, but I'll have a glass of wine with dinner. The truth is for me to be in recovery, if I'm that alcoholic, I'd be going to probably 2 or if I killed kids in a car wreck, I'd be going to 2, 3, 4 12-step meetings a week. I'd be doing trauma work. I'd be I'd be so proactive in my own recovery to make sure something like that never happened ever again. And that's the only way that I could ever build trust with a partner, because I am addressing myself. And so, Tammy, coming back to you, and you're saying, but I want emotional intimacy and I want sexual intimacy. And of course you do. The question is, are you settling for scraps? And the follow-up to that is why? What do you think, Tammy?
I don't know. I really love this person, and outside of that, I think even in the 12 years that we were married and this was going on, and I had intuition that something was amiss even then, and I would, there were a couple of times that I saw text messages that I called out, and just like intimacy between us would wane for a while and then come back, and I want it badly. I like this person. I love this person. I don't want to walk away from it. I want to have hope that it's fixable, but yet I sometimes question how much damage I'm doing to myself along the way. And so when I kind of drew a hard line a few weeks ago, and I wanted to bring up a conversation like a week ago, because I kind of felt like it just, it didn't land, like nothing has happened, no further conversation was had. And I was met with, well, a lot of people have sexless marriages. And
So
my
hang on here, Tammy. So he's not engaging sexually with you? Is that what you're saying?
Well, she's saying, I'm not going to engage with you unless you get some help.
Yeah,
That's what I'm interpreting.
That's what I was
Is that
trying
right?
to.
I've kind of drawn that line that I don't want to be intimate in that way
Okay, good.
until I feel protected, until I feel a measure of safety, like I'm seeing actionable steps.
Good job, Tammy.
Yeah.
That's a
And
hard boundary to have.
I've not seen anything, and I don't feel like I can ask for those things. Otherwise, I don't feel like it means something. Like, I feel like I have spent 5 years saying, why aren't you doing this? Or why aren't you doing that? I'm not seeing this. I want somebody to want to do it for the right reason, to want to protect me, to want to create a safe space for me, to be in this relationship in the way I want it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I drew that line and just there's been zero conversation about it. And so when I brought it up and I was met with him saying, well, some people have sexless marriages, that wasn't what I was looking for. I wasn't looking for somebody to just say, well, if you can't trust me, I'm just like, it felt very threatening almost like,
That is a turn of the table and a gaslight. Like that is the definition
Totally.
right
like,
there of gaslight.
like it's on me. I'm the one choosing to not.
That's it. Because you said, I want to have fidelity in my relationship. And unless you stop having sex with yourself and other people, like that doesn't work for me. And he's like, okay, cool. Like I'll keep having sex with other people and myself. Like, but we can still be best friends.
I think he has, though, in the last 5 years, he feels like he's taken steps. And when we've talked about it, he'll say, I will never be with another person. Like that line is a hard line for me. I'm not going to have another affair. I could be way off base here, but I don't necessarily trust that.
Shocker.
Why would you trust that? Right?
I mean, I'd like to I'd like to believe that like that's a line that now is drawn in the sand, but I just feel like if you can't tell me about anything else proactively, I don't know.
I can feel your pain, Tammy.
Amen.
The tough spot that you're in. I think it makes it that much harder because you do love him and you have a deep connection to him. And these are some of the most painful situations that we see because he loves his addiction and he's having a hard time negotiating or navigating. How do I keep a relationship with Tammy but still have this thing going? And I just think, like my wife, Jenny, I've never loved any other woman. Like she's my one and only. And she is like, she's the only person I've ever loved that way. And if she went out and cheated on me 9 times and then didn't like humbly take accountability and work a recovery program around it, my heart would break because I love her so much and I would have to divorce her. And if we turn the tables on that, like if I did that to her, I would want her to divorce me because I love her. I wouldn't want to keep hurting her. And so I'm not saying there's no hope to move forward, Tammy, but right now, as Tyler was talking about level 0 recovery, these behaviors will continue. Like, don't fool yourself. This is the you part of this, Tammy. Do you know what the you part of this is? Like, do you know what I mean by that? Like where this is about you?
feel like I've been codependent, like enabling it to continue for 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
In a certain sense, and I hear this too, and I want to echo what Brannon said, like you can tangibly feel the pain and struggle that you're in and that you've been going through for so long, and what a long, hard road. I just want to acknowledge that too. But, you said something earlier, like he wants his cake and he wants to eat it too. And in a certain sense, you're here telling us, I want my cake and I want to eat it too. I want that deep, deep connection. I'm trying to force that deep, deep connection to happen when in reality, the conditions based on my values aren't actually safe to have that kind of a relationship. And so now I'm going to either force myself into that, which then you said, and I'd love to circle back on this for a second, like, I don't know how to do that without incurring too much damage to myself. And I want to explore that for a second. Like, what is the actual damage to yourself that's taking place by trying to pursue those other needs of deep, deep connection and physical intimacy when you have someone who's not actually safe or trustworthy? Like, what is the damage you incur to yourself?
I think when this initial D-Day happened, I just felt very, I know you're not supposed to take it personally when it's somebody else's.
It's normal. It's normal.
But I think I couldn't help but feel
Did we lose you, Tammy?
We may have lost her for a minute. Oh, Tammy, say that again. You cut out there for a second.
Couldn't help but feel blank.
I think I feel disrespected, not valued. I feel like by tuning out consequences, the person isn't choosing me. My self-worth has taken a hit.
Yeah, in what ways, Tammy? Go a little bit more descriptive.
I don't know. Like, I've never turned this person away intimately, and to have someone just repeatedly choose other people or to choose, just fantasy tuning out when I'm right there in the house, it just feels very hurtful. And I don't know, like, I take care of myself. I work out 6 days a week. Like, I don't think it's an attraction issue. I've beat myself up for that repeatedly. I think when it first went down, I bent over backwards trying to be the perfect person.
Yes.
And it was never our relationship. Like, we get along great. We're fabulous friends. We have so much fun together. And I just don't want to give all of that up.
Yeah.
But I'm so tired of not being chosen or feeling not valued. And I don't think he sees it that way. I think he sees it as such a not big deal. Like, everybody does it. Everybody, everybody watches porn. Everybody, like, it's, I don't know.
Tammy, do you feel like sexually, do you feel at times used or consumed by him?
No, I think we do have, when we are intimate, I think he works to be very present.
Okay.
Although that has been a problem too, because if he can't be present, I can tell. And usually it's him feeling shame for why he can't be present. And I just wonder, how often am I with this person and they're not really with me?
Yeah, I was kind of wondering about his state of mind, or like really as a woman, you have that sixth sense of like connection, like, and I'm just wondering how much connection you really feel. I think that you're in it's a really painful place to be in. And if I can describe it this way, you're like honestly in denial. And what I mean by that is like, you can articulate everything you just said, and you can honestly say that to us here on a podcast with us. And yet you want it to be different. Like you want it to be different so bad that you just hang on to want it to be different. But the reality is it's not different. And so in that state, it sets you up for constant disappointment and pain.
I almost feel like there was a break in that denial just a second ago when she was describing the things she has to lose or sacrifice. Did you feel the energy shift to not just a sadness, but almost like a grief?
Yeah.
Like, Tammy, it almost felt like your energy shifted in your voice of like, oh man, I don't want to lose all of this, but I'm realizing that these things aren't really that compatible right now. And then maybe there's this, but you know, I'm thinking you want a best friend, go get divorced and have a best friend. You know,
that sounds so easy, Tyler.
You know, but that's what she's saying.
She wants a lover. She doesn't want a best friend.
She wants a best friend who's also going to be the part that he's not providing, which is safety, trust, choosing, cherishing, deep intimacy, and that longing is there. And there's little elements of it that trickle through. And that's what you meant when you were saying settling for scraps, Brannon, is it's not that, Tammy, you're not getting anything out of this. There are moments. There's like these little, like, it's almost like you get this like little sliver of hope once in a while. We're like, oh, hey, that felt good. Oh, like, and man, I love this person. And I'm suspecting there's some things around that too, some value stuff going on, you know, so you value loyalty. You value friendship. You value like not being the one who gives up. You value showing love. You value forgiveness. And I think looking at the situation you're in, it presses on all of those values when you realize you also value, at least you're losing these a little bit at a time, but you value self-respect. You value healthy boundaries. You value safety. You value trust. And right now, what you're doing is a little bit at a time, you're trading those four things to try to grasp at these other things that once in a while you get a little taste of. And that's a dangerous game to play, but it's a game that if you choose to play, at least do it consciously.
I guess I've wondered for the last 5 years how much can I even move the needle? Like how I can't make someone do the work.
That's right.
I can't make someone change or want to even necessarily. It just feels very stuck. Like I don't want to leave. He has even said like, oh, you would leave me over something like this? Like just porn now and again? Like, and maybe to me that does sound silly too. But I think it's a bigger picture of just lack of transparency, gaslighting, trust, just all of it.
Energy. Think about it like you guys' relationship. Is it operating from a place of the energy of growth, vulnerability, love, possibilities, or is it operating from a place of fear, compulsion, like doubt, shame? Like I don't hear a lot of energy of like deep connection. I hear a lot of energy of those other things that actually indicate that there's a pretty low level of recovery that's taking place.
Yeah, let's be honest here. Like we're talking about an addiction, and so like he might be listening to this and being like, whatever, Brannon, I act out with porn like twice a month. Like, that's not an addiction. Like, I've got it under control. I'm not acting out with other people. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. But an addiction is an attachment disorder that creates exactly what you're reflecting back to us right now, Tammy. And as I listen to you talk, you sound like a person who is willing and available to create love in a relationship. You're forgiving. It sounds like you have positive regard toward him.
Non-judgmental.
Like, he has no idea what he is just squandering here. And his addiction is the thing that's talking him into to like basically watching you slowly walk out the door and being like, well, see, it's her fault. Let's gaslight her back. We're dealing with an addiction here. This isn't going to get better without him working a recovery process. Without him, that's like me having cancer and being like, yeah, I'm not going to do any treatment, and like the symptoms will be here, but like whatever, like, we'll deal with it. It's like, no, you need to face the fact of what you're dealing with here. And I'm not saying you, Tammy, I'm talking about your husband. If you want, so really this is boiling down to an ultimatum. And we get questions about ultimatums all the time because there's such a negative connotation. Like, well, I shouldn't give ultimatums.
And ultimatums aren't necessarily about controlling him, even though that might sound like it in an ultimatum.
Exactly. Like, you go to, thanks for putting that in there, Tyler. You go to him with an ultimatum, not because you're trying to force him to do anything, but the ultimatum is about your boundary. It's me or the addiction. It's like, take your choice. Recovery is an option. Tammy, I'm not saying you have to do that. And you'll do it in your own time when it's right between you and God. But ultimately, I think there's enough evidence here of what you'll continue to get unless you actually draw a hard line. So what do you think about what I'm saying?
I feel like I drew a line, maybe not hard enough, but I feel like I drew a pretty good line, and just nothing has happened.
That's data, by the way.
Which is normal. Like, we see this all the time, but it's data.
Do you have to tell the person what you need to see? Like, to me, that shouldn't.
No, in fact, don't.
I think I said, how what you're doing makes me feel, and in general, what I need to feel. In terms of, I need actionable things that show me progress and security and protection and whatever. But when I think of an ultimatum, I feel like the last few weeks we have coexisted and ate meals together and watched TV together and slept in bed together and held hands and went out and done social activities, and and I think he could live that way in tandem with his addiction for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course.
I don't think I could. And so I don't know that just me drawing that line of, I don't want to be physically intimate with you, with that in our space, I don't think there'll be any action taken, because I think.
But there is, Tammy, if you look at it the other way, from the inside out, you just drew this line for yourself, and you realize that he's not going to respect that line and that he's okay, but you're still not. So the fact that you're still not is leading you to a new place. And that new place is something that you get to decide now. You just said, I'm not okay with it being best friends while he keeps his addiction partner. Okay, good. So you're not okay with that. Get really solid on why. Why are you not okay with that? What are the values that are still screaming at you with the way things are? And that's going to lead you to a next step on what would make it more okay for you. right? That's going to be your next boundary. And you're going to get data out of that. And then you're going to learn and you're going to get more solid on your boundary, your values. And then your values are going to continue to inform your boundaries. So now you've got two things that have to happen at the same time. We allow ourselves to be treated right up to the level that we believe we should be treated. So the inside out work has to be happening, the dailies, the self-compassion, your own recovery journey, your own support system to keep fresh perspective and to stay clear and grounded. That's the internal thing that strengthens whatever the values are that you're starting to identify. And then as you identify those values, you start to protect those a little at a time, and you get data. And eventually that's going to be, think of it this way, your hard lines are a way of staying congruent to your values while inviting the right connection back. You're not actually getting rid of connection, you're inviting the right kind. And in this case, your partner will either decide he wants to learn how to do that or he won't.
I'm kind of hearing her say in a roundabout way, like, I don't believe that he will. So yeah. Therefore I'll go back on letting go of some of my boundaries and my truths, because I'm worried that if I go step up in that way, and this is why her stepping up about sex is so awesome, because it's a
great step.
She's actually stepping up and saying, like, I got to draw a line.
Now but she's also coming to a realization, Brannon, that this step isn't actually going to work for her because she wants something more in the relationship. But if she steps backward, she'll get the counterfeit version of it again. She knows what that tastes like. She knows what that fruit is.
But Tammy, let me ask you this. Is divorce an option?
This is a second marriage for both of us.
Okay.
So I feel like there's some level of me that would just feel like a failure.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then there's a part of me that questions, like, if I would ever even give it a shot again, if this didn't work.
Sure.
Like, it would break me. It would break me so bad. I mean, I would never say it's not an option. I'm not like financially trapped or anything like that.
I guess what I'm saying is, like, when like, you were really honest with your answer there. I appreciate that, because what I'm hearing is, like, I think both Tyler and I probably have the same kind of belief. Like, I will fight like hell for my marriage. I will stay married as long as I possibly can, and do what I can and be patient and all of those things. And there's a kind of a dichotomy, or let's call it a dialectic. That's the word Tyler likes. There's a dialectic here of both. I will fight like crazy for our marriage and be willing for our relationship to walk away if I need to. And that's actually healthy. And a lot of people don't understand that, and they get so trapped. They get so trapped preserving the relationship that all of their self-respect goes out the window. And so having divorce as an option is actually good for a marriage. Are you following me, Tammy?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Brannon, I think she just made some progress here, potentially, with recognizing that she's got some. Tammy, it sounds like you've got some real beliefs about what it means to be divorced twice.
Yeah.
And those beliefs they're internal beliefs around your value, around failure, around lovability, and so it's not necessarily that you need to go make peace that you could get divorced so that you can get divorced. You need to go make peace with the beliefs that are holding you. It's like you have this crappy container of, like, counterfeit connection that you're settling for, and then you put the lid on the top of it but if I get divorced again, that means blank, 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 blank. I actually need to go take the lid off by addressing the beliefs of, what does it mean to be divorced twice? What does it mean if I get rejected by this person? What does it mean? I need to make peace with those internal core beliefs, because until I do, I'm going to use those as the way of keeping the cap on this crappy stuck situation that I'm in.
getting divorced a second time may be the biggest success that you have in your life, because you learned so much, you grew through it, and you actually walked through one of the hardest things you've ever done.
Somebody very close to me just went through a decades-long relationship, and I think maybe one of the greatest things that they've ever done in their life is finally get divorced.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because they were in a situation where the writing was on the wall, 15, 20 years ago, but it took a 20-year process to finally realize that the writing was on the wall. And then to do the internal work to say, wait a second, like, I was born with a noble birthright. I don't have to settle for the mess of pottage anymore. And because of that, that's an inside out work. The way that you don't repeat history again is you start treating yourself
You're worthy
and believing in yourself that you're worthy of something different than what you've been getting. And you can do that inside the current relationship, and that will invite change to the relationship for as long as it does, until your partner says, I don't believe in myself enough, so I'm going to blame you and say it's your fault because being so petty about porn, when in reality, he's also saying, I also don't want to confront that I'm dishonest, that I keep secrets, that I'm small emotionally, and I'm not healthy emotionally, I'm not mature emotionally, and I need to blame you for everything because I can't take accountability for my life. And you'll be offering him a chance to look at that, and he can grow into something new with you if he chooses to look at that. And if he doesn't, you won't repeat history because you've been addressing the inside out beliefs about who is Tammy and what is Tammy really worthy of.
So we're not saying, and I want to kind of extrapolate this from what Tyler just said, and I think you should go back and really listen to what he just said. But we're not saying walk in tonight and say, hey, we're getting divorced.
No.
We're saying if you have that as a possibility, then we remove all that fear is out of the way from informing your decisions to actually step into your power as a woman, as a human being. And when you do that, you're going to kind of lay it on the line of like, either you're going to choose me and choose all of me, or you're not. And if you're not, then I can be strong enough to walk away. Tammy, do you know why? Tyler and I are coming at you pretty hard, and
yeah, you could probably feel my passion here.
Do you know why we are?
I mean, I listen to your podcast, and you're passionate about what you do and people living authentically.
Yeah. I'm passionate about protecting women. I'm passionate about, I love the people that struggle with addiction as much as I love the people that don't. But just the little bit of assessment that we've done here on this podcast today, Tyler and I are picking up on addiction behaviors that are hurting you over and over again. And I think we're just trying to be really clear with you that of what you're actually dealing with. And I think you know that already. We're just reinforcing that. And it's probably hard to hear. But I'm just wondering, how are you feeling, Tammy?
I don't think it's like you said. I think it's something I already knew. But you always question yourself when you're in this situation. I think I wonder, how long does a person just live in limbo, not seeing any action? And then I think it also plays into the feeling of unworth.
Yes.
When somebody isn't doing everything they can to, like, even just for the last 5 years, like, I feel like when D-Day came about, I was the one who found a counselor. I was the one who was reading everything I could, who was listening to podcasts. I feel like I have been the one that has been like keeping our ship afloat. And I just don't know why. It makes me feel very unvalued that somebody else isn't clamoring to fix their side.
Yes. And that's where this is where the poison of the whole system comes in, Tammy, is you're with a person who doesn't love themselves enough to turn around and love you. And so you're looking for someone who would naturally come and fight for you and choose you, and because they're so unwilling to look at their own brokenness, they don't have anything to give back, and then you take it personally. And I just say this, you know, you could feel the passion in my voice today. I suspect you know that passion. I just be transparent with you right now in this call. Like, there's several things running through me. I'm a father of 4 daughters, and I live in a world where I constantly see men living below their means emotionally, and the impact that they have is that they ruin the women that they're with. And the women that they're with allow themselves to be ruined because they start to believe the bullshit. They start to believe that they're unworthy. They start to believe that they're unlovable. They start to settle for the mess of pottage instead of the birthright. And there's something inside of me, Tammy, that's like, I hope you can feel that my passion isn't, I'd probably be best friends with your husband or your partner. Like, we would probably get along great. In fact, I bet I could help the dude if he would actually open his eyes and look for some help. Yeah. But the problem is that he's not doing those things right now, and it leaves you incurring all of the weight, like you just said. And that's not right, because then what I end up with is people in my office who've been in marriages for way too long, and they've dug themselves a massive hole, and they don't understand the real value of who they are. And that's a lot of hard work to recover that. That's what recovery is. And the more you keep going down the slide, the further you have to climb back up to actually just get to the understanding of how beautiful and special and valuable you really are. You're not treating yourself like you're valuable. And you got to do that.
Tammy, we're running out of time. Okay. So, we're trying to cram some stuff in, and I'm going to cram a lot right now. I echo everything Tyler just said. And now I want to get more practical with, like, where do we go from here and what do you do? Okay. So get ready, because the fire hose is coming. You can grab a notepad or whatever. And the good news is you can go back and listen to this. So this is just my thoughts and my opinions about some next steps. Really quickly, are you going to therapy? Do you have a therapist?
I do. I haven't for a while, but I do.
Are they trained in betrayal trauma, sex addiction? Do they understand it?
No.
Okay. So they might be a great therapist, but I would just be sure that they give you good guidance when it comes to that.
Yeah.
If they start saying, like, well, you should be nicer or have more sex or this or that or whatever, watch out. Right. Mm-hmm. So, are you in any group or anything?
No.
Okay. So this is what I would do, is this episode is going to release next week.
It's live today on YouTube, but it'll release to everywhere else next week.
Yeah. So I would take the episode before this that Tyler and I actually just recorded, and I would take this episode and I would text them to him. And I would just say, I'd love it if you'd listen to this. And then I would go to him, and this is where I would work with a therapist to go communicate. And I usually don't give people their boundaries, and you can take this for what it's worth, but look, it's recovery or nothing. Like, it's your addiction or it's me. Just so you know. And so he'll know if he listens to these things that what that means more so. If I were you, I would, you could come to mine and Tyler's group tonight to get going in our foundations program. You need some support. You need some you've been educated, Tammy, you know this, you listened to us 5 years ago, but you need some actual touch points where you're consistently being around people who are going to help you through this process. To do this on your own and not have that actual support is going to be really difficult. So I would get in a group that understands what you're going through and can support you. And there's going to be a side of you that's scared of that because the accountability is going to push you to
Right.
protect yourself. So I would get in a group. I would assess the therapist you have, maybe get a different therapist, maybe not. I would work on boundary work first, and then I would start in on your own trauma work and work on setting up systems in terms of the relationship to set up opportunities for progress, but avoiding going backwards in terms of you sacrificing yourself and getting stuck in the same areas that you're stuck in. So that's what I'd work on with the therapist, and also in the group work. I'd get that education, and then I'd go forward and do some of your trauma work.
And the trauma work, Brannon, I'd say specifically around that feeling of unworth.
Yeah, like and fear of failure, unworthy of love, that settling for scraps. And as you do that, then you'll realize, oh, I might be able to stay married to this guy if he gets healthier. Or I might be perfectly fine with moving forward because I feel
because
okay
I got healthier
myself. So you're not stuck, Tammy. You can move forward no matter what. It's not dependent upon him. So are you overwhelmed, Tammy? How are you feeling?
I'm good. I took notes.
Okay. We're so glad you came on today. Thank you for being here. Hopefully there will be some value to you here, either now or when you listen again.
Yeah.
It took a ton of courage to come on and share. And I just want to acknowledge again how tender your heart is and how good of a place you're trying to come from with the heart at peace towards him and towards yourself. And that in and of itself takes a lot of work just to be in that space.
I just want to say, if he's listening, he might hate my guts at this point, but I hope not. But I just want to say, dude, just be careful about what you let walk out the door.
Dude, he is missing out on a total gold mine. He is totally tripping over a dollar to pick up a dime. Seriously. Yeah. So hopefully this will be helpful, and we'd love to hear from you again sometime in the future, Tammy.
Yeah, thank you.
See you, Tammy.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Until next time, everybody, keep on keeping on.